Hello, how are you? Hope everyone's doing well. This is Sunday. Yesterday was weathering, and if we take off the labels, we can say that it was interesting weather without putting any negative or positive connotation on there. In the past, I would have said it was nasty or ugly or just awful weather, but it wasn't because I don't place the importance on the labels anymore. And I have shifted my perspective when it comes to that because it used to scare me, and now I'm not in fear of it at all. In fact, there was heavy rain here. There were tornadoes across a lot of the United States. We had a lot of thunder, lightning. In fact, I woke up to a thunderstorm, lots of lightning. I think it was like 8 or 8:30 a.m. and then it went on for hours. Small break, went on again for hours. Small break, and then it alarmed me on my phone that they had gone from a tornado warning to a tornado watch because one had been spotted, I guess, close by. So it was in effect for, I think, 45 minutes from the time that I got it. And instead of seeking shelter, I checked my intuition, checked in with my higher self, felt nothing. So I ordered food and I got in my car and I drove and picked up food. So nothing happened. My intuition was right. I'm not saying that every time nothing will happen, but my intuition will tell me whether it's something that I need to be alarmed about or not, and to take action in a practical way and not a pandemonium. Oh my goodness, the sky's falling. We're all going to die. And if we do, it's okay because we don't really die. So there's nothing to be scared of either way. I wanted to also touch on a movie that I watched yesterday because I stayed inside most of the day because this interesting weather was nonstop until probably 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. I stopped paying attention completely. That's how bothered I was by it. Wasn't bothered at all. But I watched a movie that was suggested by the tone from um, Life is But a Dream. I always want to say it was all a dream because that's the neon sign he has in the background. But Life is But a Dream. Tone suggested the movie Parallel, about parallel lives, and it is on YouTube. If you guys are interested in that, it's a very exciting movie, but very informative. It expands your mind on that topic quite a bit. So check out Parallel. I think it's about an hour and a half. I did see that it was something that you could rent or buy, but I found one of the first two listings on YouTube was full length movie for free. I think there was only like 2 ads I had to skip through because I don't pay for premium. But yeah, so check that out. And today I wanted to do a quick message. I'm going to touch on some other things as far as cleansing and detoxing, but I've already talked about those things. Just kind of wanted to give an update as far as like how my adventure with those things are going. But something that has been sticking out to me lately is means to an end. Because if we are working on creating, you have to stop using things as means to an end. If you want to create, you have to live in the now. You have to be in the present to connect with your higher self. You can't be worried about the past or wallowing, commiserating about the past or worrying about the future. You have to be in the now to connect to your higher self, and that is how you create. If you are using something as a means to an end, that you're treating what you have now to get to where you want to go, you're living in the future. You're already thinking about the future, and it's okay to make goals, but you just can't stay there. And required thinking for that. More thinking, more thinking, more thinking. The only way you're going to connect to your higher self for an extended period of time to create is by your gaps in your thinking. It's okay to have a thought, but be an observer of that thought. The gaps, and the longer the gaps get, hence the meditation, anytime, anywhere, requires not putting any more energy into the thought that you're observing so that it spirals and then it takes over. And then that is what's controlling you, your mind, and not your higher self. So we want to tap into that higher mind, that higher conscience. So we have to get rid or minimize the means to an end. So by definition, I wrote it down just in case. Treating actions, tools, or methods to achieve a particular goal. That's the means. The ends is the goal or the desired outcome. So, say my car. My car has been wrecked for a long time. People look at me like, I can't believe she's driving that, or that they need to get out of the way, because if I've wrecked like that already, then who knows what I might do to them. Like, I get all kinds of reactions. I get jokes. I joke back. It does not at all affect me. It is my car. I appreciate it. It gave me somewhere to sleep on rainy nights at the campground. It's gotten me to jobs. It's gotten me anywhere that I needed to go. I know how to maintain it, even though there's several things that might be less desirable by others. It doesn't bother me, much like the weather. It's not a means to an end. In the future, I could say it is a goal to have a new car, but I am not using this car as just something to get me by until I get another car. It is my car. I appreciate for everything that it is right here in the right now. I have everything right now that I need, including my car. If I spent time thinking about, oh, I can't wait to get rid of this car, or oh, I just, when I get a new car, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, I don't, because I'm going to spiral in that thought pattern. I'm giving energy to that thought, which is negative, which is not a positive way to create. It's not in the here and now to where I'm connecting with my higher self. I'm trying to dismiss what I have now instead of appreciating what I have now. And I'm not being dismissive of anything that I have now. I greatly appreciate every single thing that I have now. I don't lack for anything in this here and now at all. Not one thing do I lack. So it allows me to be happy. One, I'm connecting to my higher self because I'm not letting the thoughts, fear, or negative, I'm not giving energy to that so that it runs away with me and controls me, so that I don't have time to think about or appreciate the now. I'm not being present at all if I'm constantly planning on the future. If I'm constantly thinking about the accident that put the car in the position that it's in now from the past, I'm not doing that to myself. That's torture. That's hell on earth. We want heaven on earth. And in order to achieve that nirvana, that heaven on earth, that pleasant existence, is to live in the now. I used to think about Black Lives Matter being this way because I was a supporter, and I still am, but as I said, all good movements get hijacked eventually, especially once they gain traction and have a certain amount of following. They will infiltrate and then it'll be um, used for someone else's gain. But as soon as Black Lives Matter gained traction, my first thought of how it's infiltrated is how they started putting commercials on TV with primarily black actors. All of a sudden, Jake from State Farm is black. There's a Black Little Mermaid, like things like this, which is nothing wrong with that at all in theory, because I love that. They should have been, the problem is they should have been represented mainstream a long time ago and not predominantly white. So the fact that they were just doing it after Black Lives Matter showed me that it was a means to an end. People were capitalizing on that. First, they're trying to throw a bone to the movement by saying, look, like, like this is the change that you're fighting for. No, that's not the change they're fighting for. That's the change that should have already taken place a long time ago. Two, they're making money off of that. They're using that as a means to an end. They're using that to their advantage to make money, their ends. Your ends, a lot of slang, street slang will say ends is like what your money, what's in your pocket. Um, so they were using that for their own benefit, and I thought that was nasty. I thought it should have been happening a long time ago, but the way that they did it, um, so rapidly and so in response to the movement just was not authentic or genuine at all. It was felt like an insult and a slap in the face, and it needs to keep going, but as now you see it's kind of tapered off because they're not trying to please the movement anymore, and that's very much what it was about. It was a means to an end. They made money off of it. They'll still do it to make money off of it, but it's not as predominant as it was because it's not going to make as much money for them now as it would when that movement had so much traction and velocity to it. And that is just sad. It's sad. You have to read between the lines to see some of these things, but to me, that was immediately like jumping out at me like, y'all wrong for that. Y'all wrong. I'm glad they're out there, and that's great. But the way that you're doing it is super shady, and I know that your pockets are getting thick off of it, and it should have been happening a long time ago if it were authentic, and it should be happening as much now as it was then if it were authentic. But as you see, okay, so touching base with the detox and stuff, I made a video about detoxing. Well, I didn't call it detox and cleanse, but talking about what you feed your mind, your body, and your soul. And I have my coffee in here because I wanted to remember to talk about that. I was saying that I would give updates about it, but I haven't. But I've very much been working on my caffeine intake, and I have the little packets. I don't have a coffee maker, so I get the little packets that you just put in your cup, and then you pour hot water in there and stir it up, and it's ready. So I had been getting the decaf packets and mixing just a little bit of the regular with the caffeine, and eventually less and less and less, and then I tapered off until it was just the decaf packets. So I haven't completely stopped drinking coffee, and I know that decaf still has like a 0.03 caffeine to it, but I'm okay with that. And then when it gets hot weather, I will probably stop drinking it as much. I'm not sure if I'll ever stop drinking it completely. I do love coffee, but I have found I had trained as a barista for one of my jobs, and I rarely got an order for a decaf. But when I did, after drinking the espresso for so long, I was like, why would anybody want to do that? And I never actually tried it for myself, but now that I have, it's not bad. It doesn't taste that much different. There's a little less kick to it, obviously, but I don't like the feeling of my heart racing. I don't like the anxiety rising. I have worked very hard to get into this state of being that when my levels elevate like that, and then I'm trying to meditate, and then it increases my thoughts, I'm just combating that. I'm combating anxiety. There's just no need for that. I'm doing something to myself that's very unnecessary. So I also switched to creamer. That's no sugar. So I am adding a little bit of sugar, but not much. So I have worked on that. I'm proud of myself for that. I also drink kombucha for probiotic. If you guys want to check out GT's kombucha, I think it is the best, and I have tried so many, but I always go back to GT's because it tastes fabulous. It's a little like fizzy at first, and you have to get used to the consistency because there's live cultures in it. But the flavors are the best, and you can make your own. You can get scobies. A lot of people scobies will just multiply. So anybody that makes kombucha, if you ask them, they'll have scobies to give away. You can probably find it online. You could probably go buy it from like Whole Foods now. Things have progressed so much. And then you can add as much sugar or whatever fruit you want to it as desired. But yeah, I love kombucha. that is definitely something. I've increased my water to almost a gallon a day. I was doing that at first for at least 2 weeks to do the initial cleanse and flush, because you can lose 10 pounds just by drinking a gallon of water a day for 2 weeks. You don't have to do anything else. No exercise required. Anything else is just an added plus. But you can lose 10 pounds just by flushing out fat with water for 2 weeks. But it's also a great way to kick off your cleanse, your detox. More fruits and veggies, which it's a lot easier for me to eat fruits and veggies, but a long time ago I switched to sweet potatoes instead of regular white potatoes. That starch will turn straight to sugar, so sweet potatoes are great. I love sweet potato fries. Um, so that was easier. I love cucumbers. I could eat my weight in cucumbers. I'm not sure if that's a fruit or veggie. Something makes me think it's like a fruit. But anyway, I need to eat more veggies. I need to work on that. But fruits, even though I could eat pretty much any fruit except grapefruit, I don't like that. I'm not a huge pineapple fan. If I have pineapples, it has to be mixed with something. But um, watch the glycemic index, because anything that's high GI pretty much eliminate. Like, I love watermelon, but it's very high GI, so I don't eat as much of that as I used to. But it was okay back when I was super skinny a year or so ago, but now I don't eat it so much, and it's coming back in season, so I'm really tempted. But yeah, so other than that, the dropping the alcohol, smoking, drugs, caffeine, or overeating, those are things that make you feel heavier. I gained so much weight when I drank. When I stopped drinking altogether, I lost like 30 pounds instantly just by no alcohol. You can also do that even if you don't drink much alcohol by eliminating sugar drinks like sodas, any fruit juice that has a lot of sugar in it, anything like that. You'll also lose a lot of weight instantly by doing that and adding water in its place. Um, but yeah, all of that literally puts weight on you, so you feel heavy. And then once you taper off those things, um, detox, start a new regular plan for yourself, then you'll feel lighter that way. So the mind, we've talked about syncing up with content and what you watch, eliminating low vibrational news programs, mainstream media, music with words that are not uplifting. But what else are you deluding yourself with? Think about that. What program are you engaging in that's not light on your mind? What is weighing down your thoughts? Like I said, with a thought, it's okay. If your old thought pattern, you haven't worked through all of the negative self-talk or the negative things that you see in the news, your conditioning, the programming that you're around, or people that you're still hanging around that talk negatively or are still very much synced up with media and mainstream and all of that stuff that we're being fed, that they think that we don't realize, but we really do. We just have to be conscious about not feeding into it. Singular thoughts, be an observer. You can very much think the thought, it's fine. I'm not saying the less thinking possible is the best. Use your mind as a tool. Use your mind only when you need it for problem solving, in the now, not overthinking about the future. But when thoughts arise that are not something that you want to sync up with, observe it. Just observe it. You don't have to feed in by giving that thought more energy so that it gains traction, and you start overthinking about it, because it's usually fear-based. But just being intentional about it all, because not everything is something malicious. Even if someone is teaching it to you, that's your parent, your teacher, your pastor, whoever, it was done to them too. So I'm not saying it's all just evil, bad, but you do need to be conscious about it, because it does, just because you were taught something that was out of love and not intentionally harmful to you doesn't mean that that needs to continue and that we can't break the cycle. So giving energy to the thoughts and letting it gain speed and momentum, so that thinking is the train that is driving you instead of your higher self, your higher mind. Don't let your lower mind lead the way and take control, because then you're going to succumb to that low energy, that low vibrational. You're going to be very low frequency, and that is heavy. That is going to weigh your mind down. It will drain you over and over and over. Even if it's not someone else that's being an energy vampire, you're going to do it to yourself, because it's running your battery down like a program running in the background, very much draining you all the time. You will not even realize what it is, and you're doing it to yourself the whole time, either by what you're listening to or by your thoughts that you're giving energy to, or if you let it keep going and those thoughts turn into emotion and then you have a meltdown, or it can turn into lots of things that are harmful for you that you don't even realize, but you can put a stop to very easily just by being conscious of it and observing it and not giving it more energy to live on. So your soul, focusing on your soul, your meditation, reaching your higher self. Want to create more not today, throat chakra, we're getting this message out. Creating more gaps in those thoughts, being the observer and not giving energy, that you can let that thought burn. You can turn it into something else, replace that thought. Put something else in there that you want to grow. Start thinking about that. Give yourself, we're not doing this, give yourself permission to create that new desired reality. Give yourself permission to start feeling like you deserve it, because you do. You're worthy of that level up. You're worthy of that dream and that goal. You're not living in the future like, I'm never going to get it, or what I have right now is just tiding me over until, no. That's also letting the think train gain momentum and speed away. Even if it's positivity, you want to stay in the here and now. Grant yourself permission to have those things. That way you can feel like you are worthy, because you are, and you will start living your life like you have that already, because you do. It's everything that your heart desires is already there for the taking. You just have to give yourself permission to fully grab it, to take it, to run away with it, to make it your immediate reality. Because the sooner that you start giving yourself permission to have what is already desired in your heart, it will come to you, because you're automatically going to raise your vibrations to meet the thing that you want. It will come to you. Come hither, my love. I deserve you. I've done hard work for you. This is what I want to do from now on. Therefore, I'm vibrating with it, and therefore it is. So it be. So that is how you can start feeding your soul by living in the now, connecting with your higher self, giving yourself permission to have all of those things that you want. Start putting those things in your mind, syncing up with that, the content that you watch. Search out what your heart desires. Search out what you're giving yourself permission to grab and live and to become your reality. Start searching that, so that these other things, they don't show up anymore. And as soon as you open your phone, if you do choose to open your phone and scroll, you're scrolling into the life that you are creating for yourself. Nothing to do with the past, nothing scary, nothing fearful. It's all about living your dream, because you deserve that dream. If you've worked hard enough to vibrate higher, it's going to come to you. Just simply grant yourself permission to have it, and you will. That will make you feel a lot lighter on your soul, a lot heavier. You're not going to feel like you're dragging around and that everything is just a means to an end, because it's not. Appreciate everything that you have now. Grant yourself permission and everything else will come to you in due time. Patience, my love. Patience is a virtue. As I said in the beginning, I think it might be in a blocked video, but you don't have to meet any opposition with fighting fire with fire. It's all about your individual journey. You're only in control of yourself at all times. So feed yourself positivity, feed yourself good, healthy food, feed your mind healthy content, drink your water, meditate. It's not about doing anything. It's not about lifting a finger and doing anything when it comes to the opposition. You just have to keep moving. You just can't stay stuck and let low vibrational things drag you down by integrating them or internalizing them. Don't get stuck. Drop the attachments so that anything that you don't have isn't a tool or a weapon that can hurt you. Just keep moving forward. That is the key. You don't have to act the way that anyone else acts when they're in low vibration. You just have to keep yourself moving forward. That forward momentum will get you what you want. Replacing your thoughts with positivity, staying in the now and appreciating every single thing that you have now, because that's all that you need, and everything else will come. You just have to outlast them. You just have to outlast them, because all of the things that they do, they will drain their own batteries. You living in your authenticity will show that you're not what they say that you are. You didn't do what they say that you did. You won't have to explain yourself or try to beat them to the punch and prove anything to anybody else. You're proving it to yourself by living in your authenticity, and everyone else will see that because it's oozing from your pores. It can't be replicated. You're that diamond in the rough. No one wants to put in that much work, but they do want to put in that much work to be low vibrational and to be doing what they do, whatever it is that they do, whatever it is that they choose to do on their path. They can live in their path, walk their path however they want. Everything that I say is merely suggestional. No one will ever do it like I do it exactly, because you are you. Different things are going to work for you than me. I'm just trying to be an inspiration and telling you that no matter what happens, focus on yourself, focus on the now, and outlast them. Beautiful, because you are gorgeous. I love you. Have a great day. God loves you. You're never alone. I'll see you later. Bye.